Yo, yo, good day. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day where you are at. It is a very brisk fall day here in Nampa, Idaho, just outside of Idaho, Boise, outside Idaho. We're in Idaho. Anyway, just had some thoughts stewing in my brain. Thought I'd go out, take a little bit of walk, and maybe share them with you. Hopefully these thoughts might resonate with your heart and help you think about how you are being the best dad possible. Um, I recently had a really good conversation with a young man, and it started out with him saying, you know what, I don't hate anybody. I like everybody. And then he paused. He said, well, that's not exactly true because I hated my dad for a very long time. And I had to work through that. And I had to work through a lot of pain and trauma and come to a place where I had to work through that hate and that animosity, that angst towards my dad, and break down the walls that had been built by him and also by me. And I had to figure out a way to work through it so that I wasn't feeling this darkness in my heart, this darkness in my soul. And I thought about that, and I also thought about another conversation that I had with somebody very close to me whose father was an alcoholic and a bit of an abusive, both verbally and physically abusive alcoholic. And she's like, yeah, Jody, she goes, I don't want to have nothing to do with my dad. The pain that he caused me as a young girl and the pain that he caused my siblings, he goes, I can't get past that. She's like, I try, but every time I try to connect, the pain, the sorrow of the past comes back to me. And I actually asked myself, have I done anything that have caused my kids to feel that kind of animosity and angst towards me? I hope I haven't. I've tried not to. And so I guess my thoughts today are, man, what are the things that are tripping you up? Perhaps you have an addiction. Perhaps you have an extreme temper. Perhaps you're super domineering and you don't allow for any kind of different thought or voice or position in your home. In fact, I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, and I really enjoy the podcast. It's the Faith Matters podcast. How, as a father, he was so intent on building a relationship with God that in the process, he became so overbearing that he distanced his children from him. They didn't want to have nothing to do with him because every day was, you got to do it this way. You got to believe the way I do. He didn't give them any room to grow. So even those things that are good can be something that causes separation, that causes division. And it takes a very humble and authentic person to be able to look at the things that I am doing, whether they are good or bad, can have adverse effects on my children. I think about men who are addicted to alcohol or drugs. I think about men who are addicted to porn, who, especially in both of these cases, there is an aspect of hiding that goes on, especially in the areas of porn addictions, where I know men who they will try to sneak a peek while they're watching TV, even with the kids in the room or just in the adjacent room, and then when they come in, they quickly change the screen. And that feeling of anxiousness, of getting caught, of getting discovered, tends to make a man who has this addiction reactionary, hot, and accusatory. It puts him on the defensive. He's not able to build confidence with kids. And the same thing with other addictions. They become the God to our heart, the God to our soul. And we put those vices, those addictions in front of everything else, everything that's important. And I love the podcast that I listened to. They said, there's a paradox in the cross. In one way, it's pointing up, right, signifying that we need to be striving for a positive relationship with God, with that spiritual being that we are striving to emulate. And then there is the crossbar, where we need to be extending our arms out to others. And unfortunately, we tend to get so focused on one or the other at the cost of the other. And I wonder, and I know men who are very strong in their faith. They spend a lot of time in their positions at church and being a pastor or minister or whatever, being an elder, and they spend all their time in the pursuit of serving God at the cost of neglecting those to whom they should really be extending their arms out to and wrapping their arms around and pulling them close. And that's their own kids, their own family. And I wonder if maybe whatever it is that is demanding all of our attention, if that is building a wall between us, our wife, and our kids, instead of building a bridge to their heart. And it just saddened me when I heard that young man tell me, he's like, yeah, I really hated my dad. And it took me a long time to work through those feelings. And so it's made me reflect on, what kind of man am I? Am I a man that is approachable? Am I gentle? Am I kind? Do I listen to understand? Or do I listen to interrupt and try to solve the problem? And I think we as men need to do a better job of listening to connect. Because just because you're at a certain point in your life doesn't mean that your kids are or your wife are. And so we need to be very sensitive to giving our children and those that we love room to grow, room to explore, room to make decisions, room to work through the consequences, both good and bad, of those. We are so apt to rush in and solve, and you got to do it the dad's way, that we don't allow them room and space to grow. So, I guess it's an invitation for all of us to really look at the kind of man that we are. Are the things that we're spending our attention, are they worthy? Are they consuming? Are they all consuming? Do they pull us away from our family, or do they draw us nearer to them? It's funny. Because I asked my son one time, I'm like, what is one of your favorite memories as a kid? He said, you know, Dad, one of my most favorite memories is when there was a member in our church. The wife had a severe stroke, and so they needed to make some adjustments in their home that required a pretty major remodel. And it said, I remember going over there and we worked side by side. We tore down the wall. We took down the bricks and we set them aside so that they could be reused. And then we rebuilt the room and extended it out so that it would accommodate the needs of the mother who had suffered the stroke. And he goes, I just love that time working side by side and working with you and working with the other men, because it just felt good, and I love that memory. I wonder if we as dads are creating those opportunities to work, to serve side by side with our kids, or are we always spending our time working, spending all our time serving other people instead of making time to serve our kids? And in the process, developing not only respect and good memories, but we're creating love between each other that seals our hearts together. So anyway, just a few thoughts for you guys. It's been a week since I recorded an episode of Father's Fire. So I thought I'd go for a walk, enjoy this crisp fall day. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm actually going to be recording an episode because next week I'll be in Netherlands at the Detail Summit. So looking forward to going out there. Never been to the Netherlands before. And so that's going to be a fun little business trip for us. And look forward to connecting with you guys. So anyway, hopefully something resonated with you. Helps you take a look in the mirror and go, all right, what do I need to do? Actually, one other thing. I think one of the challenges, especially in the case of addiction, where we have created a trail of tears with our kids, with our wife, with our extended family, we at some point reach a point where we're willing to make the changes necessary to begin the trek of becoming the man that we would like to be. And in that transition, we go to those that we've hurt and we apologize, we express our sorrow for what has happened in the past, and we get frustrated because persons that we have ready to fully forgive, to fully forget, to open their hearts in reconciliation. And I think it's important for us to remember that while it took you a while to get to the point where you were willing and ready to change, to make the steps to become, they need the time and the space to see that your change is real. They know that it's okay and it's safe to open their hearts to you. And it is going to take time to rebuild that relationship. It's going to take time to rebuild the trust and the hurt that was lost because of the decisions you made in the past. And that is part of the process of becoming the man that you want to be. Process that needs to take place. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. So, anyway, hopefully something that I've shared touches your heart. I appreciate you guys tapping in, and yes, I have started a third book, and it's another journey of growth and pondering and contemplation for me to look inward as I try to elevate and become the man that I am aspiring to be, and hopefully some of the things that I share can serve as a quasi blueprint that you can adapt and tailor in your life. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tapping in, and we will continue later next week. And if you haven't gotten my new book, it's almost Christmas time, so go get it on Amazon. But How Far Must I Go? A Journey in Faith. It's on Amazon. Hopefully there's somebody in your life that could use some of the thoughts there. So anyway, you guys have a great day. I'm going to take you later. See ya.